Make yourself at home. She was slinking on the sofa earlier on.
Was she?
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's
It's the only slinking I get to do.
Cecilia for dinner.
You did it very well.
And rolling.
So,
I'm sorry. And that's for everyone.
And cut.
Okay.
so could you tell me a little bit about the story of the film?
Okay. So the story is about Sam Childers, a true story. But Sam Childers, who's a married man, married to Lynn Childers, has a family, but in and out of jail, can't get his life together. You know, addicted to drugs. He's in a biker gang. He's a robber, who finally finds a calling. You know, he goes through this kind of beautiful redemption and becomes a man of faith. It was still always being kind of pushed though to do more. So he finds himself down in Africa, where he sees some pretty untold horrors, and just changed his whole life. Where he then became a preacher, ended up building an orphanage in Sudan, and actually a church back in Pennsylvania, and tried to keep his family going, whilst trying to run this orphanage. It also kind of sucked him into the war, where he starts fighting against the militia. So the guy's got a machine gun and RPG in the one hand and a Bible in the other, trying to run an orphanage, stay married to this beautiful woman, have a family back home. I mean,
And sort of gets consumed by it.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So tell me what it's like playing a real life person and a real life married couple.
Well, real life married, I like that. Real life married couple, not tonight, darling. Get ahead.
Yeah.
Only in the movies.
Yeah. It's tricky, you know. You really sort of want to honor them, and but more importantly, just really find out what makes them tick as people, and really sort of to understand their dynamic as a couple. You know, I went to go spend time with them one weekend, and I think Jerry did too. We weren't together at the time, but really just to understand in the way that they communicate, and really what's kept them together over the course of all this time, and through all of these things that they have witnessed and endured as a couple and independent of each other. So for me, it wasn't so much trying to mimic a performance or to be exactly like her. I just wanted to understand emotionally who she was, and then try to be able to convey that in the most honest and true way.
And can you share a little bit about what kind of prep work you did to get into the role?
Oh yeah, I mean, I had been preparing for almost 8 months before the movie started, because we developed a script. I worked with Jason and Mark, and we'd have these mammoth. I mean, we had 9-10 script sessions where we just
Wow.
you know lock the doors, you know, close the curtains, and get stuck in and really kind of make this thing happen. And I found that for me, my best performances of me are ones that I worked in the development as well. Because just by the time you're there, you've spent so much time in the character's head. I spent a lot of time with Sam, you know, traveled around his areas. I had all his, you know, so much source material from Sam, you know, documentaries that he did, interviews. That I used to have him playing all the time.
Did you carry his Bible?
And I had it, yeah, and he gave me his Bible. I mean, there was a million things. And then, you know, I watching documentaries on fundamentalism, you know, on preaching, on bikers, everything, all the different things that made Sam who he is. So there's the biker faction, there's the preacher faction, there's the gang member, then there's the, you know, the political situation in Sudan, then there's the kids themselves, there's what's going on with the Lord. Just a bunch of nonsense.
And finally, what do you hope people get out of this film?
I just hope it enlightens people to kind of what's going on over there, and allows audiences and people to kind of look at their own lives and sort of see what maybe we can do a little bit differently, or in what way maybe we can help out. And, you know, if that's just helping out with Sam's cause, that's good enough reason.
Yeah, no, I think that the story this is a very emotive, powerful movie. Story, you know, and I love when I'm meeting people now who've seen it or journalists are coming in and you see what they got out of the movie, and that's what I want people to get out of this movie, because it's a true story. It's a very powerful story, but a part of this planet that most people don't know enough about, and dealing with human characteristics that I think we all could do with a bit more of, So it's a fascinating journey, and I love to be a part of that.
Well said.
Well, thank you
And
guys.
well done.
Let me get back to slinking.
Okay. Nice. Such a